right, kiddos, today we're going to talk about coterminal angles. Angles in standard position, remember to be in standard position, your vertex of your angle has to be at the origin. One ray has to be on the positive x-axis, and then the other ray is somewhere in your coordinate plane. So angles in standard position with the same terminal side are what we call coterminal angles. Okay, now look at this example right here. If I were to draw a 90-degree angle in standard position, right here is my vertex point, it's at the origin. This ray is on the positive x-axis, and of course to make a 90-degree angle, that didn't draw very well. This angle right here would have to be on the positive y-axis. So this is 90 degrees. Since it's positive, you'll notice that it's going in a counterclockwise direction, okay? So 90 degrees, if I convert that to radians, it's pi over 2. You can do the math to verify that. Now, an angle that's coterminal to 90 degrees on this particular example is negative 270 degrees, because if we're going to write the angle with negative 270 degrees, remember vertex is the same ray right here, but it's going to go clockwise. So if I start right here at my initial side, this would be negative 90, okay, keep on going, this would be negative 180, and this would be negative 270. Okay, so do you see how this 90-degree angle and this right here, going all the way around, negative 270-degree angle, they share the same terminal side, okay? So how do you compute angles that are coterminal to one another? Well, you can compute them positive angles and negative angles, because this isn't the only angle that's coterminal with 90 degrees. So what you can do is you can take your 90 degrees and you can add one revolution, and of course that's going to give you 450 degrees. And you can also subtract one revolution, which is 360 degrees, and that gives you your negative 270 degrees. So I know that with my 90-degree angle, an angle that's coterminal with that would be 450 degrees. So remember, 450 degrees would be one complete revolution, and then back up here to the 90 degrees. So 90 and 450 degrees would share the same terminal side. Also, we can see from the example that's already drawn, 90 degrees and negative 270 degrees also share the same terminal side. So I was able to find two angles that are coterminal with 90 degrees. So let's see if we can figure out some coterminal angles with these examples. We're going to do a positive and a negative. So with 65 degrees, okay, I want to find two coterminal angles. So I'll take my 65 degrees and I'll add one revolution. 65 plus 360 is going to give me 425 degrees. So 425 degrees is coterminal with 65 degrees. That means they share the same terminal side. And then to find the negative angle that's coterminal, I'll take my 65 degrees and I'll subtract 360 degrees. 65 minus 360 gives me negative 295 degrees. So this is a positive angle that's coterminal with 65 degrees, and this is my negative angle that's coterminal with 65 degrees. Okay, so if you think about it, we know from here 0 to 90 degrees, 65 degrees is going to be, probably should have scooted that up just a little bit. So this right here is 65 degrees, okay? So 425 degrees is going to make one complete revolution and then go back down to the 65 degrees. So we'll start here and we'll make one complete revolution and then back up to 65. So this one right here is my 425 degrees, the green one. So they share this same terminal side. So 65 degrees and then 425, that's 360 plus 65, okay? So these two share the same terminal side. Now my other angle, which is negative 295, that's going to go in the other direction, okay? So if I start here at my initial side, I would go clockwise to get my negative 295 degrees. So 65 degrees and negative 295 degrees share the same terminal side, okay? Let's look at 540 degrees. Now this one's going to be a little bit different, okay? The reason it's different is because it's already more than 360 degrees. So we can't do it quite like we do this one, okay? So when you have a degree that's greater than 360, instead of adding 360 and subtracting 360, if you add 360, you're going to get another revolution, okay? And you've already got one complete revolution and some extra. So what you can do to get your positive and your negative, you can take your 540 and subtract 360, just like we did before, and that's going to give you 180 degrees, which we know is going to be the x-axis, okay? And then what you can do is you can take that 180 degrees and you can subtract 360 degrees again to get negative 180 degrees. So this would be your negative and this would be your positive. Now I know you're thinking, well, we didn't do that on the previous problem. No, we didn't. If you have a regular angle that's inside the circle, inside the 360, you add that angle to 360 and you take that angle and subtract 360. That will give you your two coterminal angles, one positive and one negative. But if it's greater than 360, go ahead and take that angle and subtract it, and that'll give you 180 degrees, okay? And then take that 180 degrees and subtract 360 again to get negative 180 degrees, okay? So that will give you the positive and the negative. And you can sketch that out if you want to, because this one is already going to be your one complete revolution and then some, just like we had here with the green, okay? And then the 180 will be the positive amount, which would be this angle. And then the negative 180 would be the blue in the opposite direction, okay? Now, this one's actually in radians. See how you've got 13 pi over 18? So when you're dealing with radians, you're not going to add and subtract 360, are you? You're going to add and subtract one revolution in radians. One revolution in radians is equal to 2 pi, just like one revolution in degrees is 360 degrees. So you'll take your 13 pi over 18 and you'll subtract 2 pi. Then you'll take your 13 pi over 18 and you'll add 2 pi, okay? See how they both have pi? That's like both of them having an x. That would be a like term. So when you have like terms, you can add and subtract their coefficients. So you'll have 13/18 minus 2, which will give you negative 23 over 18. Then you'll have 13/18 plus 2, which will give you 49 over 18. Okay, and you can put these in your calculator to work them out. Just drop the pi symbol when you put it in. Do 13/18 minus 2, and that's where that's going to come from. And then 13/18 plus 2, and that's where 49/18 pi is going to come from. And that'll give you your negative value and your positive value. Now with 14 pi over 9, okay, we're going to do the same thing again. We'll do 14 pi over 9 minus 2 pi, and we'll do 14 pi over 9 plus 2 pi. Okay, so 14/9 minus 2 is going to give us negative 4/9. And then 14/9 plus 2 is going to give us 32/9. And that'll give us our negative and our positive.